Is quiet quitting a form of laziness, or are people justified in just doing the bare minimum? In this video, I share with you my thoughts on this new term. Hey, what's up, everybody? Ralph here. For these past couple of weeks, I've been hearing about this new term called quiet quitting, right? And if you're like me, you're probably figuring out like, yo, all right, so what is this quiet quitting? Like, what is it? Why is everyone talking about this? And as you do your research, you hear people's stories, and then they talk about, all right, quiet quitting is basically just doing the bare minimum, right? Or basically just doing what your job required, what you were hired to do at your job, right? Just not doing more than what you were hired to do. And I think we've all been in this situation, right? Where we get a job, and then we start the job, and then you find out more work is put on top of what you're already doing. And it's easy to be like, you know what, I don't feel appreciated. I feel like, you guys are giving me too much work, or this is not what I'm paid to do. So we've all been that way. Even myself, I used to work in the finance department, and you get into that work and you start doing what you were hired to do, and then you find out on top of it, they put more work on you. And it's easy to just be like, all right, you know what, yeah, this is not what I was hired to do. And then it's easy to just feel resentment and say, you know what, why should I do more work than what I was hired to do? So I think for a lot of people, they're coming to the realization that, you know what, I'm not gonna do more than what I was hired to do, right? And depending on who you are, you could either look at this as, all right, you guys are just being lazy, or some people could just say, you know what, people are justified in their reason for just doing the bare minimum. Okay, so and also, quiet quitting is nothing new. We've all done it. Like, I know people are hearing this new term, and it's something that people heard for the first time. But people have been quiet quitting forever, right? People have been doing the bare minimum for years, for generations. Like, this is nothing new. Like, there's some people that go above and beyond when it comes to the job, and there's some people that just say, you know what, I'm gonna just do what I was hired to do. And these different type of people exist in any industry. Okay, but the one thing I wanted to talk about is, like, I know a lot of people, when it comes to this, like, people, the thought of, being underpaid, right? Everyone, I don't think there's no one in any of their jobs that feel like they're not being paid enough, right? It's rare, like, unless you're making millions of dollars. Even if you're making millions of dollars, people feel like they're being underpaid. Look at athletes, right? If you look at athletes, depending on the type of athletes, NFL, basketball, NBA, there's always athletes that feel like they're not being paid enough, and they live in a totally different world, right? They're looking in a world of other millionaires, right? Especially when it's us outside looking in. We're not the ones that's making millions. For them, if they're not getting paid a certain amount, they're comparing themselves to their counterparts, right? So if they feel like they're not getting paid based on someone that's in the same position, they feel like they're being underpaid. So even if you're someone that makes millions of dollars, you're still someone that feels like at your job you're not getting paid enough. But the good thing about that is, especially when athletes, you can negotiate, right? If you don't feel like you're getting paid enough, then you can just go to your agent and tell your agent, look, hey, I think I should get paid more. And the agent goes and speaks to the owner or the general manager and says, look, I think I deserve X, Y, Z. And that's where the negotiation happens, right? The athlete says, I want this. The owner says, you're worth this. And then they negotiate and come to an agreement. If they don't come to an agreement, what happens is that person can then, once their contract is over, go into the free market and figure out what their value is. So I think for a lot of people, if you're someone that feels like you're not being undervalued, that's not being paid, or you feel like you're being undervalued, then what you could do is look for another job in that same field and see if you can, get more money, right? Go into the open market and say, all right, you get an interview, and if they offer you more money, you can then go back to your previous job and say, hey, I found this another job. They're going to pay me X, Y, Z. Can you match it? Now your boss will either match it or say, hey, I think you should take that job. And that's where the negotiation happens. And then you can feel like you're getting that value. But I think for a lot of people, a job is a job. No one likes their job. Like, I don't think it matters what job that you're doing. It's rare that there's certain jobs that people love and they enjoy it. They feel a sense of purpose. But for most people, no one likes their job, and everyone at their job feels like they're being underpaid, right? So, but like I said, the thing you can do is test yourself in the open market and see how much you get paid. But I'm pretty sure even if you do get the money that you work, years down the line, you're probably gonna still feel that you're not paid enough. So the question is, like, so what do you do? Like, what's the solution? I think it depends on what are your goals. If you're someone that's trying to climb the ladder, right? They're trying to get to a higher position, whether it's president, CEO, general manager, whatever it is, whatever that position is, wherever you work. If you're trying to climb the ladder of the corporate ladder, then obviously in order to get there, you're going to have to do more than the bare minimum, right? obviously those people that get in those positions, those people are going above and beyond their title description to get noticed. So that person, their higher ups can notice and be like, all right, this person is putting in the work. They're working longer hours. They're doing more than they're asked to do. Let's promote that person, right? And if you're someone that doesn't care about that, you just want to be, you're content with what you're doing, and you just want to, just go there to collect a paycheck, then obviously quiet quitting is going to be something that works for you, right? But it really depends on what your motivations are, what your goals are. If you're trying to climb the corporate ladder, you're going to have to go above and beyond, because those are the people that get noticed. But if you're just content being just normal and just just collecting a paycheck so you can, make sure that you're paying your bills on time, that's fine. But just understand, bare minimum effort will give you bare minimum results in life, right? If you're just gonna go live life just doing the bare minimum, then understand that. Don't be surprised when you get bare minimum results in life, right? People that want things in life, people that are striving for things, better things with their life, they're going above and beyond, of what they're expected to do, right? And I understand that like a job is different, like. You want to make sure like this is what they hire you to do, and I get that. I understand. Like for me personally, I worked plenty of jobs where I was like, you know what, I don't like it. Like I don't like the way they treat me. I don't feel like I'm being paid enough, or for whatever reason. But for me, I'm different. Like I was never comfortable working a 9-to-5 job. So my goal was never to climb the corporate ladder. My goal was always to, become self-employed, do entrepreneur stuff. That was always my motivation. That was always my long-term goal. So working that regular 9-to-5 job was never something for me. So whenever I met, whenever I was at a job where I felt like I was underappreciated, I'd either just, do the bare minimum, or I'd leave and find something else. I wouldn't just complain like, hey, you guys are treating me wrong. I never did that. I said, you know what? I think it's time for me to go. I stayed there 3, maybe 4 years and find something else until I'm on the path of what I want to do in terms of starting a business. So, which is what I'm doing now. So I work for myself. So, and that's brought me the most joy. But for people that are looking to get more out of life, whether it's in your job or something, your own business, you're going to have to go above and beyond, right? But like I said, if that's not something you want to do, then do the bare minimum, and quiet quitting might work for you. You just want to just do what you were paid to do, and just work that 9-to-5 job, and then once 5 o'clock comes, you're out the door. That's totally fine. But just understand that if you're someone that's looking to move up, you're not going to get noticed. They're not going to notice you, and they're not going to move up, and you can't then complain like, oh, I don't get paid enough, or what happened to that promotion. Then you know why that you didn't get promoted, or you didn't move up up on the ladder, right? So I think for a lot of people, it's my thing is like, instead of like quiet quitting, right? Why don't you find something that you enjoy doing? Because I promise you, like, even though you're doing the bare minimum of life, you're probably not gonna be happy doing that. You're always going to say like, you know what, I need more, I deserve more. Instead of quiet quitting and doing the bare minimum, try to find something that brings you joy and something that you can make money doing as well, because you're never going to be fulfilled. You're never going to find that happiness working at a job or working for someone else. And like I said, I know it's not for everyone, starting your own business, entrepreneurial mindset. I get that. Like, you have to have a certain mindset. But if you're someone that's working a 9-to-5 job, like I said, most people aren't happy with their job. So even if you do this quiet quitting, and like I said, not everyone can do quiet quitting, depending on what kind of job that you're doing. What if you're working with a group of people where your level of effort, is depending on you're working on a team. Like the success of the team depends on the level of effort that you give, right? If it's just you, then obviously you can do the quiet quitting. But if you're working on a team, then they need you to perform. They need you to give a little effort. Or if you're a doctor, you can't quiet quit, right? It depends on your profession. So I think for a lot of people that work in the office, I think that's where you see a lot of people doing the quiet quitting, where they just, I'm just coming here to do my job, but that's it. 5 o'clock comes, I'm out. But maybe the better solution is to find something that you enjoy. And I know that's not easy, but it does require, a little bit of effort. But for me, like, just doing the bare minimum, I wouldn't find much joy in it. There was times where I did it because I knew my long-term goal was to get out of 9-to-5, the rat race. And eventually I was able to do that. But for me personally, long term, it's not something I could just live my life doing, right? I would have to find a way out for me. But and like I said, like, I know for a lot of people it's like, oh, if I got paid more money, but making more money is not going to make you happy. What makes people happy is being able to have more control over their time, right? And I think that's probably why people are just saying, once 5 o'clock, I'm out. I'm not gonna do more. But I think having more control over their time is what makes people really happy. The people being able to do what you want, when you want, how you want to. For me, that's made me happy. Being able to just work for myself and having more control over my time, that's where I found myself the most happy. And I think for a lot of people, I think that's what the majority of people want, is just figuring out how to get there. Most people don't know how to get there. So, and it requires work, you know? So I think, like I said, if you were to say, you know what, I felt underappreciated, like I'm not getting paid enough at my job, you would probably get another job, right? You probably make a little bit more money, and you would find yourself unhappy for the same reasons, right? They put more work on you. The more money you make, the more work that's going to be put upon you, and you're going to say, oh, I'm not getting paid enough. So you're probably not going to be happy doing that either. So I think for a lot of people, it's just finding some way to make sure they're happy doing what they do, and they have some sense of pride and purpose. I think that's where a lot of people find their happiness. So the quiet quitting, I mean, I'm not sure if that's something, I mean, like I said, it's nothing new. But long term, for that, you know, if you're trying to find happiness within yourself in terms of quiet quitting, I don't think that's the solution. You know, I think it's finding something that you do find yourself enjoying and finding some purpose. All right. So that's all I got for you guys today. If you got any comments or questions, make sure to leave it down below. Hit the like button, share, and please do not forget to subscribe. All right. So you guys take care and have a good one. Later.